Yay. Okay. So yeah, when I set this up, I had no idea that we would just have been in the midst of this formula recall. I mean, who would have imagined that there would be such a thing? So we do have some time to chat about that as well. And hopefully I won't take up a whole hour of your time, but I did just want to touch base, get back on track on keeping up with everybody, and, do some little updates and things like that for you. And I have to figure out how to move my slides. I feel like I do this every time. Okay, here we go. So a few new things that have happened this year I wanted to let you know about. So if you caught on, I think in the Rosie updates that they send out an email about that, we have got Project 47, which is Forest County, joined our project as of January 1st. So we have a couple of new staff members over there. Julie is the support staff, so doing the intake and things like that. And then Stephanie is a breastfeeding peer counselor for that area. Carly is their CPA. Carly isn't necessarily new, but she's got some new duties that she's doing. So wanted to mention that as well, that Carly is doing some of our breastfeeding peer counseling coordination. So a little bit helping to keep in touch with the peers a little bit more than we have done in the past. So, and then of course, Carly has a bunch of other different projects or clinics that she's covering as well. So we are very glad that she's on board, and we've been able to give her a little bit more work to do, keep her busy, which she's probably regretting. And then I wanted to welcome back Mary Sikora Peterson. So we've had a little bit of a transition in Lactaflambeau as well. So Brenda Husing was the CPA and is now moving to a different county. And Mary was actually working with that county and is now coming back to do Lactaflambeau. So just a little swap there, but Mary is very well-versed in WIC stuff. So we're really pleased to have her back, and just knowing that she has the knowledge behind that is really exciting for us. Makes it much easier and a good transition all overall. So welcome back to Mary. And then just wanted to mention, we hired a couple of new peer counselors in towards the end of last year. So we have a new peer that's serving Lactaflambeau, and that's Sharon Labarge. And then Ho-Chunk Nation also has a new peer K-Refund maker. And we're really excited. Really trying to get them involved in keeping closer contact with them so that they're more involved in the day-to-day and able to really touch base with families and keep that moving. So it's been an interesting couple of months with all that going on. We are also looking at, in July, we will be adding Project 77, which is Forest County Potawatomi, and they have just probably about a 45 to 50 participant caseload. So they will be joining our project as well. If you've been around a while, they actually were in our project and then broke off, did their own, and now they're coming back. And mainly just finding that it's hard to find the staff that meets all the requirements that WIC has. So we will be welcoming them in July as well. So lots of fun going on. So I did want to jump right into formula stuff. So it's been a pretty interesting couple of weeks, as we found out almost a week and a half ago now about that formula recall. And of course, the big stuff seemed to happen on Thursday. And so we were trying to deal with everything on a Friday before the weekend. And just, of course, not the best timing, but so we are hopefully everyone is up to date on the return procedures for families. We are still directing them to take things back to the store. And most stores have become familiar with how that will work. And the one thing, just to remind you, if you hear anything like if a WIC family is declined or they're treated differently or they're not allowed to return, we can always report that to our vendor unit, because everyone should be treated the same way in this process, regardless of whether they purchase their formula through WIC or not. And then, of course, the big news last week was we finally got some alternative formulas to offer families to use their WIC benefits on. And so we've been trying to put that website out. The website is now actually been transformed to a PDF. So if you go to that link It is now something that families can print off if they want to take it to the store or do a screenshot or whatever. They are still adding formulas as they find them or as store brands, as they become available or as they get information, they are adding new formulas to that list. So we are encouraging families to check it out, like, um, to go back regularly to that site, especially if they encounter difficulties in finding a formula. We do, though, want to keep in mind that this is temporary. I don't know how familiar everyone is with the process that the state goes through with contracting with a formula company to be their contract formula. So there is a contract still in place. And while the Abbott company is providing some flexibility now, we do know that at some point we will be transitioning back. The state is working on some messaging. I mean, I'm sure we've already all heard that or can suspect that we're going to be hearing from families that they're not comfortable transitioning back to Similac. And of course, geez, we just kind of got people used to Similac in the last year. So I do anticipate there will be some more education we'll have to put out for families about this transition, but just want to keep in mind as you talk to families, let them know that this option of choosing things is temporary. So we will be keeping them updated as well. Let's see what else is new here. So they did, and I don't know if anybody is hearing any of this stuff about testing and complaint, to how to process complaints. I haven't heard anything from families about this. I know a few families are kind of looking back on things that have happened to their kids as far as illnesses and thinking it could be related. Of course, we have no idea at that point. But there is a process if somebody calls and asks you, like, what can I do about this? I think this happened to my baby. We can direct them to this FDA consumer complaint line, and they will walk the family through the process of what they can do. So we don't want to be involved in this, obviously. But if you do hear that information, you are able to give families this number to proceed with this process. I don't know how many people have heard anything, but hopefully this isn't going to be something that will take up a lot of your time or that you get a lot of complaint or comments about. So I did just want to let you know about that because it has kind of been sort of bounced around at some of the other projects in the state. So the other big thing I wanted to let you know about that came out of today's call was that the state is looking to try to make Rosie adapt to some of the larger can sizes. So, there's a lot of stuff that goes on on the other end of this as far as UPCs and things like that. So coming soon, and I'll keep you posted on this, but I do just want to let you know that they are trying to open this up to larger can sizes. And so anything over 26 ounces will actually be counted as 2 cans from their benefits. You may have noticed on the list right now, there are a few that are bigger than what we were offering, and those are just coming off as 1 can. And I do admit, I have said to participants, look for the bigger size, because it's a nice little benefit for them, for some of them who have, been going to the store daily trying to find what they need. So, but I do want to let you know that some of those larger sizes will soon be part of it. So it'll give the families a little more flexibility and a little more opportunity to find what they need. So I will keep you posted on that, but that was definitely, I think, a good benefit for families. As we know, there's a lot of shortages and things. So we will keep you posted on that. Let's see. Before I move to the annual trainings, was there anything else coming up that you guys needed answers to or information about as far as the recall at this point? Okay, I'm seeing some shaking heads. So hopefully we've been trying to keep you posted, and I know there's stuff coming out from the state every evening, and they're updating their guidance documents. So I will try to keep you posted and highlight anything new that comes out so you don't have to keep going through that document. But if you think of anything that you need as far as assistance, or you're getting a lot of questions about certain things, let us know so we can try to help you on those. I don't know if anyone else got all the calls on Friday afternoon about the soy. It if you, I'm not sure if you caught on to all, and of course I was trying to email you and keep you up to date, but some project got a hold of the whole list of people in the state and sent out this mass text about their your infant being on soy, and of course it went to everybody. So I got a ton of calls. I know, and I know Jody here in Lac de Flambeau did as well. I think Anita mentioned a couple from Stockbridge. So they did send out a retraction pretty quickly after. So if families didn't read it right away, I don't think they panicked as much as some of the ones that might have just picked it up right at that time. So an interesting little, I feel bad for whoever sent it out, but that did drain a lot of time, I think, on Friday. So just what we needed. Okay, so next thing I wanted to just remind everybody, and actually I think most of you guys on the call might have already done the training. I know Kathy did. They sent out this huge list of people who have done it, so I'll go through again. But if you haven't done the annual trainings, remember this year you have to work through Cornerstone, which is just a training platform that is available through the state. So there is an option for creating an account for tribal organizations. And if you haven't done that and you need the instructions, let me know. It's a pretty simple process. Some of you may already have an account with Cornerstone if you're doing any other public health things through the state. So you do not have to create a new account if you already have one. You can just let me know, or you can contact the state and they will transfer the WIC information into your existing account. And I don't know if for those of you who set it up, you do get some alerts in your email saying, oh, you have this new training, or you have X number of days to complete the training. So it's kind of nice. And then you can certainly do trainings ahead of time. I think right now they have to get the training approved before they put it in the system. So at some point they'll catch up and all the trainings will be there at all times. So if you want to do all your annual trainings in February, that will be a possibility. Right now, it's just as they build up that system, it's not in there yet. But as soon as some of the other ones become available, the civil rights one will be in there in the next couple months. It will send you an alert to remind you to do that civil rights training. So kind of a nice little system, and I think a little bit better than what we had, especially recently, where we were just looking at PowerPoint presentations. So if you haven't done it yet, set up that account. You will need to do the ROSI security and then the 2 confidentiality modules, and then send me a signed copy of that ROSI security agreement. Any questions on that? And the good thing on this one is it sounds like we don't have to do those training logs anymore, which I think we're becoming a bit, for those of us that have been around a long time, it was like page upon page upon page as you went each year. So this is a nice option. Okay, let me just check chat. Okay, no, nothing in the chat. So no questions on this I'm seeing. Then I wanted to remind, or maybe I haven't told everybody this, but I wanted to let everybody know about a new breastfeeding training that is coming to WIC this year. If you've been around WIC a while, you may have done the breastfeeding glow and grow, or grow and glow. I'm not sure which way it goes. But that was something that was offered to everyone across the board as far as the breastfeeding training. So that is something, this is kind of similar to that, like a new updated version of that breastfeeding training. And if you are able to see the screen, you can see that there's different levels of content. So everybody across the board will complete level 1. Level 2 will be for peer counselors. So you're kind of adding on. So you'll do level 1 plus level 2 plus level 3 if you're at that level. So for CPAs, so the RDs, you're going to be doing 3 levels. So you'll be doing the initial level, the second level, and then the third level. And then I think there's just going to be Carly and I that will do the 4th level, because there's some breastfeeding peer counselor coordination part in that 4th level. So, but for the most part, everyone is going to either be doing 1, 2, or 3 modules. I think most of us on here are going to be doing 3. Jody, I think, is the only one that will do just the 1. But everyone else is going to be doing those three levels of training. So you can see they've already posted dates for this. And so you can look what we're asking and why we're putting it out right away is that to have you save some of those dates. So you can pick one of the dates under level 1. You don't have to go to all 5 of those dates. Pick the date that works best for you. And then same with level 2. They have 3 options of dates there. Pick which one works for you. And then level 3, did I already say 3? I'm losing track of numbers. Anyway, level 3, again, you can pick the dates that work best for you. So if you want to really spread it out throughout the year, if you want to get it done, you kind of have your choice of how you want to operate to get through to all the different levels. So just keep that in mind. I'll send this calendar out again so you can start saving some of those dates, putting them aside and picking out which would work best for you. Hopefully within all these options, there'll be something that will work for everybody. And if not, we do have the option of pushing some of it off till next year. So if there's you can't get to the 3rd level content in this year, we'll just look at it for next year. So don't be too concerned about that. We're just going to try to get everyone through. And if it doesn't work, we have the option of doing it next year as well. So, but yeah, so this has a pretty big chunk of time we're looking at. As you can see, if you're doing all 3, you're looking at about 26 hours of time. So if you feel like it's just not going to work to do it all in 1 year, that's no problem. We're going to just see how much we can get done for the year. So questions about that? Anything that comes up? And as of this moment, there isn't any registration yet. So we're just gonna get you to keep these dates in mind and pick those out. And then when the registration comes, we'll have you move forward with that part. So. Okay. Let me just double check chat. No. And then on the same lines, as far as breastfeeding, there's actually a new breast pump loan and release agreement. So that is in WIC share, or I can send it out. They just sort of lightened it up a little bit, I think. So still have just the top number or the top part if you're giving them the personal electric, or if you're doing the hospital grade rental. There's the second part as well. Oh, maybe not. Oh yeah. Yeah, it does give them directions on what to do with it if they are done using it. So I guess I should have looked at it a little closer. It looks like the whole thing is now part of, yeah, if you are, it lets you put in a return date. So this is actually more combined. So if you're not doing a rental pump, you still just need to do the signature. And then if you are doing the rental pump, you can see that you can give them a return date. You have to identify the pump number, and then they still have to sign it for you. So interesting. There is actually a support group, or not a support group, a work group that is trying to put together some more information on breast pumps. So if you have attempted to do an order in the last year or 2 years, it's been a very interesting process. I know in Lactaflambo, they attempted to do an order and it took almost a year for them to get it. And then we ended up with about 3 times as much as we had ordered the first time, because it seemed like somebody might have submitted the order a couple times on the state end. So we ended up getting boxes upon boxes of things. So if you need some pumps before you order, just let me know, because we do have some stored here as well. But they are looking at a process where we would be ordering them specifically for a participant, and then it would be shipped directly to their home. So that makes a whole lot of more sense to me than what we have currently. So I'm hoping that that will become reality within this year. So they're really working hard on getting us a better option for the pumps. And I know we haven't been doing a whole lot of pumps with insurance providing those. So it's been a little less of a hassle, or less on our workload overall. But I did just want to point this out and let you know changes will be coming to the breast pump issuance portion for WIC. Okay, and then we are so very lucky that this year we do not have to do a monitoring or a management evaluation. We suffered through that last year, but we will have to do one in 2023. But as part of just some of the conversations we have, I did just want to kind of pull out some of the things that were in the evaluation last year that we were dinged on, and then just kind of keep reminding you about them. So I have one here for actually anyone can do the verifying the communication restrictions. And so mainly we're going to see our intake staff is going to probably be doing this, but I just wanted to let you know that this is something you can do every time you go into Rosie. I mean, it doesn't have to be just for a certification. If you're going in there, they're asking a question, you can just verify with them. That makes it nice if somebody else is going to issue benefits. They don't have to jump back and try to do this part as well. So just a reminder to verify those communication restrictions and actually ask them if there's any way they don't want us to contact them. And then the other thing for our CPA staff is one of the things that came up was making sure we document that there was some sort of assessment of infants at that 9-month point. If you decide to give them the fresh fruits and veggies, we just have to put something in the care plan stating you had a discussion and there was some determination that baby was ready for this, developmentally ready. So just copied something from WIC share as far as, it can just be a really simple one-liner, like discuss with mom, is developmentally ready, blah, blah, blah. So just like I said, that was just kind of pulling back some of those things that we had on the ME last year. So we keep those fresh and don't get the same issues next year. And I do have to say, I had to do a chart review of this in, I think it was October or November. And there was only one chart where it was missing. So we improved greatly on this. I think I had to do a percentage and it was like a huge percentage, like 300% better than we were doing. So I know the message has been received and I'm just kind of just reinforcing it for you. So we have that ready for the next time as well. Okay, and I know I sent an email about this, but and I'm not sure if anyone will really even notice, but the state has to do a request or submit bids for the support for Rosie. And so they did that and the winner the last 10 or 15 years has always been cyber. And so now they've switched over. They got a better competing bid from a different company. I think it's called Sigma. And so part of that is they're going to transition the support from cyber to Sigma. So that's going to happen basically as far as it will affect us is on March 25th. So just a reminder, I don't think any of us actually have appointments or anything on that Friday, but we did want to just put it out there in case you go in and try to do something and you maybe can't, just so you know why. The other thing we wanted to mention is that the app will be offline for a period of time. It's not going to impact benefits at all. Everyone can still go and shop, but they may not be able to go into the store and scan the food and find, determine if it's eligible using the app during that time period. But they will still be able to access all their benefits and be able to do that. But just in case you happen to get calls about the app, or if there's a way you want to put out the message about the app being down for, could potentially be out, just so you kind of have that knowledge of what is going on. And then the state is actually going to be putting out a message about the outage. So hopefully that'll get through to everyone using the app that it's going to be out. And then we'll also let them know when it's back up. And again, I don't think that makes a big difference to a whole lot of us. But the other thing they were mentioning, and I'm not sure that this will be much of an impact to us at all either, but they were suggesting if we have any appointments in that last, or if we have any clinics in that last week, we may want to reduce the volume of them slightly. Again, I don't think that impacts any of us, but if you should happen to notice, I don't know if this would be a slowdown in Rosie or whatever, but just so you're aware something is happening, if you notice something is a little different, it likely will be resolved through this process of the transition. So I don't exactly know how it'll look, but it sounds like it's just going to impact us for a very short period of time, and we'll be good to go when we start our regular clinics at the beginning of April. Any questions on that? I'm not sure I could answer them, but but I'd be happy to take them forward if anyone has anything and any concerns on that. Okay, doesn't look like it. All right, so that was actually the end of what I had. Like I said, I just wanted to touch base, and I know the infant formula thing was the big thing, but I wanted to see if there were any concerns, questions, anything you needed from my end.
Sherry, I just have one little thing. With the Native Breastfeeding Coalition flyer that went out, I don't know if I'm dumb. I don't know how to, I can't copy off that link, you know, the sign up link.
Okay.
Or at least maybe because I'm in Citrix and working from home, it won't let me. Maybe that's the problem. I just thought about that right now.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else had a problem.
Well, you know, I had a problem putting the link in there, and I was like, I thought I had it active. It was funny because I was working with Anita, and I was all excited at the end of the day thinking I had done it right, but maybe I didn't. Let me go back and play with it. And if nothing else, I'll send you the link, just the link, so you have that active. But that's good to know because, of course, before I send it out, I should make sure it actually works.
Like I said, it might be because I'm going through our clinic app and that doesn't let things work right a lot of times. And I just thought about that so I can try it without. But yeah, otherwise, if you just send the link, that's always easy.
Yeah, especially for the second one, because I think you guys are.
Yeah, we're doing March.
Part of that, yeah. Okay, any other questions or concerns? Okay, not seeing anything. So I'm hoping to continue to do these pretty regularly, or at least monthly, just to kind of touch base, even if it's just for a half an hour or so. Not mandatory. If there's one we schedule that you can't make, I try to keep them towards the end of the month, but you know, if it's no big deal if you can't make it. We will try to record them all anyway, but we're always just trying to make sure we keep in contact. And just to throw this out there, as you know, the waivers are right now in place until mid-July. So we could potentially be looking at some sort of hybrid in-person type of thing starting in August. So we'll just kind of keep you all posted on that. There's a lot of movement on the national level as far as what WIC might look like and how to make accessing WIC equitable. And so, you know, there may be some changes coming up with that as well. And we can certainly discuss, you know, how we can make it easier. I think it's going to be a rough transition for participants coming back. You know, it's been 2 years. And so we've got a lot of moms and babies that this is the WIC program they know. So, you know, having them do other things, I think will be an interesting transition. So we want to be sure we're prepared for that as well, and kind of offer as many options as we're able to as we do that. So, so keep that in mind. I know there have been some sites that have done some in person over the last 2 years as it was appropriate, and so we can certainly work on that as well. So we're just kind of moving forward, and like I said, we have that July deadline at this point, looking to see what it'll look like when we come back. So keep that in mind. And if you have questions, or if you guys are starting to work towards being in person, we can help you out with that as well. And I probably will have to get you all sorts of materials and supplies because everything you have expired. So we'll definitely keep in touch and want to discuss that, especially as we move forward. So there'll be more on that as we get closer. All right, well, I am going to let you guys go. I thank you guys for joining in the call. And again, as things roll out with this infant recall or anything else, feel free to reach out. I know, hopefully we're trying to keep you posted without being too annoying. I know I was sending a lot of emails, so I just want to make sure that you're getting what you need. And then be sure to do the training if you haven't already. And if you need help with setting up that Cornerstone account, give me a ring. Okay, well, you guys have a good rest of your day and a good week, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you.